Hi, you are watching SightsIn Plus and this is Romesh. Please to subscribe the channel for the HR news, for HR updates, and conversation with the top-notch CHROs, thought leaders, and business heads. Today we are going to discuss layoffs in tech industry in 2025. If you look at the numbers, so around 72,000 people have been laid off this year, 2025, in first half of the 2025, you can say. In last year, around 152,000 people have been laid off, and this figure is by the Layoffs.fyi website. If you look at the companies, so the companies are generally Microsoft, Google, Amazon, IBM, Intel, Barclays, HSBC, Citi, Meta, Siemens, Panasonic, Volvo, Nissan, etc. Joining us too, very senior editors, let me welcome Mr. Prashant Srivastava, who is the Senior Vice President, Human Resources and Head at Medi Assist, and Ms. Nidhi Bhardwaj, she is the Vice President and Head Human Resources at Indifi. So, based on this data, Shant, how do you see that? What are the key drivers? What are the key reasons? So that's why these companies are laying off their employees. Even today, I saw the news that Microsoft, Intel, and Google, they are laying off around 1 lakh employees in this 2025. So how do you look at this picture? How do you see what may be the reasons that's why the companies are laying off their employees?
If you look at the macro economic conditions across the world, also the technology which is changing at a very fast pace, and lastly, the AI which is changing the shape of the way tech industry operates per se. So these are the three things that I see which are actually uh, impacting the tech hiring, tech retention, and tech layoffs in a very big manner. In particular, I would say when you say tech as a platform or SaaS as a platform, you would find there are technologies which are being changed at a very fast pace. And especially if you look at the companies which were hiring a lot of coders earlier, some of them are getting automated also at a very fast pace. So I think the entire tech space is going through the transformational piece right now, primarily from the perspective of the macroeconomic changes and also AI. So these are the foremost thing that I find which are happening, which are shaping up the changes right now.
So absolutely, this industry is going through the transformation and a lot of restructuring is going on. Technological advancement, definitely, that is another reason. And one more reason which we have highlighted, microeconomic conditions. Nidhi, would you like to add here something? What is your take on this?
So, Ramesh, apart from what Prashant just covered, there is technological changes, there is macroeconomic conditions changing. Um, a significant part of these tech layoffs is also pivot towards, profitability from earlier growth, which was part of the strategy. Also impacts this significantly. What happens is you start hiring and training your resources because you're anticipating that you're going to get big projects. That's how the technology industry primarily works. And when you start realizing that realistically, what kind of business you're going to get and what is your strategic change given that new technologies are coming up going to be in next 1 year or 2 years, then they start looking at the right sizing their organization. And if the organizations that you just named, they hire in large scales, and when there is this pivot happens, they let go of in large scales as well. Also, another reason is if you look at the technology industry, there is, the industry itself evolves every 5 to 6 years. This letting go of people and then hiring ramp up ramp down happens every 5 to 6 years. This has been the trend for last 20 years or so. So these are primarily the reasons. And when you let go of people, you are expecting that now you're going to be replacing them with talent which is more adapt with the kind of technologies that you need to start working on. So people who kind of upgrade themselves, they continue to be in the organization. Those whose skill becomes redundant, they are let go of in such situations.
So you are saying that right sizing, this is also one of the reason. Maybe the companies have hired more people earlier, and the projects are not as it was expected. So might be this is also one of the reason. And I think we were putting the same reason in 2024 when the companies were laying off their employees. I think a couple of companies is still working on the right sizing part. So that is absolutely right. So now, if we look at the India scenario, so these companies, as I already quoted, so this layoff is not only in other countries. This we can see also some of the companies in India, like in IT, Infosys, they laid off around 640 employees in the first half of this year, 2025. Ola Electric, they laid off around 1,000 people this first half of the year. Wipro, they around let off 300 people. And if you look at the startup, so startup they have also laying off their employees. Maybe Gupshup, if I share the number, that is around 500. Jobber, they have let off around 100 people. Share Chat around 30 to 40 employees. Pocket FM around 75 employees. Uh, Flipkart, they closed one of their ANS commerce division in Gurgaon, and the number of people laid off maybe around 1,100 to 1,500. Paytm, they have also laid off a couple of employees. So, in India scenario, Prashant, how do you see that? What will be the reasons why the companies are laying off? Is the same reason or anything else to also find out some other reasons as well?
I think the companies that you talked about will need to look at specific to their business models and how they operate. I think something what Nidhi was talking about. If you look at the Indian offshore industry, specifically Infosys, they do a lot of long-term hiring. So there could be reasons behind, how they are looking at the businesses outside India and within India. The other companies, there could be specific to their business models within India. Specifically the one company. So can you hear me?
Yeah,
Specifically
yeah.
the one company you talked about, Paytm. I think they're facing stiff competitions from other UPI platforms, right? So there could be chances that their business models are not working well within the domain which they operate in India. So I think we'll have to look at specific reasons for these individual companies. To tell you, if we are looking at tech as a space, as I said, AI will change and is changing the way they operate. Specifically, when you're looking at developers platforms, when you're looking at companies which are looking which used to hire large in numbers for basic coding, those are going to change in times to come, and significant amount of change will take place if people are wanting to upgrade from doing the basic work to high level of coding. So I think that's where I see it changing within India also.
If you see the IT industry, so as Nidhi said that there was also over hiring in 2023, I think, when we talk about the campuses. So if you look at the numbers for those who have been laid off, these are the freshers, and they failed in their internal examination. So I think that is here again, we see the right sizing according to the project. That is also quite resonate here. And Nidhi, how do you see what is your point of view when we're talking about the layoffs in India?
Ramesh, coming from right now from startup organizations myself, right now I'm operating in startup organization. Um, Startup infrastructure in India is operating basis what kind of funding are they receiving? right? And that funding, or what Prashant just mentioned as the macroeconomic infrastructure primarily, changes the direction the startup infrastructure is going to take. If you are getting funding, if you're getting equity, you focus on growth, right? And when you're focusing on growth, you're hiring more people for anticipatory growth that you are expecting next year. You're planning for that, you're preparing yourself for that. When there is lack of funding happening, when there is lack of equity investments happening, the startup infrastructure starts right sizing. They start focusing on profitability so that they can self-sustain. So right now, what is happening in Indian startup industry is primarily because of overall, government tightening on various federal laws and all. The funding and equity is something that is coming very carefully to any organization. So the focus has shifted from growth to profitability right now. And when you focus on profitability, you need to be operating with extreme cost consciousness. You're really looking at what you really need right now, who you really need right now, where you really need to invest. And that is what is happening in startup infrastructure. And that is what the outcomes of all the organization that you spoke about, whether it is Ola, Paytm, everybody is very focused on how to achieve profitability for self-sustainability. When the macroeconomic conditions will start changing again, say this year or next year, the focus on growth will shift again. And you will see more hirings happening in this space as well.
Rightly, you have pointed out the funding part. It is very crucial. Macroeconomic situation, these all the things are very important when we are talking about layoff. Uh, uh, I think all are aware that recently the IBM they reported that they have replaced around 200 HR guys with the AI, the agent that is Ask HR. So how do you see this the when we are talking about the artificial intelligence? So there are news maybe with the Cognizant they are also working on the same. So how do you see this factor is contributing to the layoff of employees?
So, Romesh, if you look at the roles which are transactional in nature, the roles which are SOP driven, we have technology evolving which can easily take over such roles. And when you talk about 200 people or 300 people, they are definitely not niche roles we are talking about. Those are essentially transactional roles. Those are essentially SOP driven roles. And AI has the ability to now replace many such roles. If I give you an example, a couple of years back, we used to have MIS or data analytics resources almost in every team. And then organizations started adopting Power BI. The analytics that these resources were doing and providing the dashboards were easily available in Power BI. You just had to do a one-time setup and you could straight away get those dashboards from Power BI. So you could get away or do away with these roles, which were specifically doing this MIS for you, right? But there is a shift that happened. People who were trained in Power BI, they were getting the jobs because they could design those dashboards. They could create those setups. So when the technology will start taking over some roles, there will be evolution of some roles. There will be some roles becoming redundant. You would have also seen people evolving themselves. Uh, a lot of professionals, no matter which line of career, when such changes are happening in the overall the market conditions, they start picking up what is seeming to be important skill to learn now. So Power BI was not there for many of us when we started out in the career journey, right? Most of us learned on the way. So people learn those technologies, they learn those skills to stay relevant, which is what my take on the AI and automation and all those technology driven rules would be, that they make some rules redundant, they give way to some new rules basically. And then those who can adapt themselves, get themselves those new roles, basically.
So, like routine HR tasks you are talking about, so definitely this these kind of the rules can be eliminated, and not only the HR function, that could be from any other function that can be eliminated easily by the AI now. So, Shant, what is your take on this? Would like to idea something?
Yeah, I think, see, the landscape is changing. So, and this has been changing for last so many years. I mean, the roles have changed, the role of HR has changed over last 20, 25, 30 years. And I don't see that it will not change in future. It will keep changing. I think what has happened with the AI, I think the pace has probably increased a bit, right? So there are repetitive or transactional role, as Nidhi was saying, those will change, and HR folks will need to adapt and learn the new way of supporting the business and what value they bring to the table, and not only doing the transactional work. And I think that is already taking place. You will find HR folks embedding themselves more into the business and letting this transaction work being done by either by automated, platforms that they have, or specialized tools that they use. Power BI is one such tool that a lot of companies are using. If you look at more advanced HRMS platform, they have AI built in now. Gen AI also is there. So I think that will change. But they will not be able to take away the human part of the transaction. And that's where I feel HR would continue to support and also guide the business in a much, much more meaningful manner.
Definitely, definitely. And I was also going through a news, and a company has let off around 10,000, 15,000 employees, and did not disclose what the severance package. So this is also sad sometime. So how do you see how we can make the layoff process a little more, make the employee comfortable, so that some skilling, some severance package, how we can make it little more comfortable, so that they can be placed somewhere, they may get the new employment. So where do you see the role of HR, how we can make the process a little more comfortable?
See, this has been the practice in a lot of large organization and small organization to do outplacement also. A lot of organization in startup space that where we work, I get a lot of uh, inputs from other companies which are not doing well or want to outplace their workforce. And we within the industry, we circulate the skill set that are required elsewhere, or people could be placed outside. There are specialized services from which can help. I think as HR leaders in the organization, where we can help is to be more empathetic towards employees, uh, make it more, no exits or no separation is easy, right? So make it more less painful, the entire disengagement or separation process. I think that's where HR can play significant role, and in finding out newer opportunities for our folks.
So if you would like to idea how we can make it little less painful, what's any idea as a HR professional?
So, Ramesh, first of all, I would say that it starts from the planning stage. Um, if you are able to do a good manpower planning, which is not just based on how you're looking at the numbers increasing, but you're actually creating a blueprint for next 3 years, looking at what kind of technological evolution will happen, where you will strategically be changing the scenarios and then preparing your headcount plan and the skills that you need accordingly, and do a good job there and then hire people accordingly. Don't excess hire, right? That will be the first step where I think now HR is not just about hiring, it's about also strategizing. So strategize right and hire right, so that you're not in pain and people who will have to let go of their jobs are not in pain. That's one. Second is most important part if you have to do those separation conversations. It is empathy. It's not just a transaction that you're closing with someone. It is somebody's career, it is somebody's livelihood. So empathy is extremely important. And then comes some rules that, we have as a part of our labor code of conduct as well. If you have roles within the organization where these people can fit in, you have to look at how strong, and it's even more important for larger organizations which are multinationals, um, how strong their internal talent engine is running. I have seen it happening with the organizations that I have worked with, that there will be roles available maybe in some other entity, and the current entity is letting go of the same skill set because there is no talking happening between the two entities. People would not know that there is requirement for similar skill set maybe in another entity. So creating that strong talent, internal talent engine where you are able to look at all the available roles, you are able to evaluate your people for all those roles, and letting go of only when there is nothing available for them. Creating your talent also in such a manner that they are agile, they are evolving and reskilling themselves. There should be opportunities for reskilling that is available within the organization, and time given to people maybe when you are anticipating that we might be changing our strategy and we might have to do resizing, right sizing in the organization. So those are definitely some important aspects. And when you talk about empathy, uh, outplacement services, severance packages, those are things, and beyond all above all of that, being humane with the people that you're talking to. Very, very important things. And that's why HR cannot be replaced by any bot or any technology, because that empathy that we bring to the table, that's our niche primarily, I would say.
Definitely, empathy, that should be the core of this whole process when you are laying off the employees, and right talent strategy. Definitely, that everything starts from the right talent strategy. No over hiring. I think people have taken the lesson from last over hiring. So this is a very crucial point. How you strategize these all the things. Now, keeping this all in a view, how do you see uh, how it is going to be the job market for the tech industry in this year, 2025?
If I have to just add some of the points here, is you definitely will have evolution happening in tech industry. Um, AI, Gen AI, they are the new buzzwords, and every organization and every individual who is operating, and I'm not even saying that this is only for people who are techies. It's for people who are in HR also, because AI is going to touch every single domain, whether it is finance, whether it is HR. There will be roles which will be becoming redundant across functions because of AI. There will be things that can be done much faster using AI. So I think everybody will have to learn AI for sure. Everybody will have to get hands on with the new set of technologies that are getting introduced. um, we started, in fact, working on creating hackathons where we can have what kind of blueprints we can create from, given that so many AI platforms are now available, what we are doing in our digital journey, where can we have new products being created, new journeys can be created. We may not have funds right now, but at least we have identified through that where all are the opportunities coming up, right? And this is done primarily by the techies. Techies understand these technologies, this AI, better than anyone else. We can talk about that, if this can happen, I think this is going to ease my HR process. I may need two people less in hiring or three people less in hiring team. However, when you talk about the tech industry, you have to look at how you are future proofing your workplace, how you're preparing your people, techies, and others as well for the new technologies that are coming up, and secondly, how you're adapting to those technologies.
And Prashant, how do you see the tech industry, tech job market in this year, 2025?
Tech industry and its complete outside perspective, we do have a large tech team at our headquarters in Bangalore. I think how we, as companies, how we are evaluating our tech stack in times to come, for next 3 to 5 years, how those platforms and the tech stack is going to service our customer. I think that's where probably we can redefine or reevaluate what our talent pool would look like in next 3 to 5 years. And 3 to 5 years is a long time. I would say probably 1 to 3 years because it's changing so fast. But I think we have a large enough team, so we can look at, these are the 3, 4 streams where probably we will end up having more people in this line of this line of business or stream, and that's where probably we can build more talent in. So coming back to your question, I don't think it all is lost. I think we are going through that churn right now, and everybody is being more careful or more circumspect, I would say, if I can use the word, in reevaluating how their talent mix would look like for their tech teams in next 1 to 3 years. So it is a more cautious approach. I think I'm being more optimistic. In next 6 to 8 months, you will see green shoots and more uh, newer revenues for techies to get hired in differentiated roles.
So I think you rightly said this is overall the realignment is going on with the tech industry, and this is not downturn. There's a realignment kind of, and if you look at the roles, so the companies are also hiring some freelancers. They're also taking some of the roles that may be on a contract. So this kind of the positions are also coming, and niche technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud, and these are the emerging technologies. So these are on definitely these are still on demand to the tech industry, and hiring maybe the volume of hiring may be a little less, but quality hiring is still going on. So this is nothing to worry about the tech industry. I think we have been able to cover the subject. We have been able to cover the layoffs in 25. Anything else which is important and we did not touch, would like to share?
I kind of feel that, if we as an organization start planning for investing in the learning piece, people are going to learn new technologies. There are some who are creating these, who are like kind of designing these new technologies. So rest of all of us have ability to learn those technologies for sure. So investing in learning and future proofing your workplace, believing that your talent is actually renewable talent. You can change them from this technology to that technology. Uh, and having that strategy well in time, as Prashant said that this is maybe a rejig happening right now. And specifically for techies, they learn new technologies very quickly. They will move out of one job, they will quickly, do some certification, work some projects, learn that new technology, and they will be ready for the new kind of roles that will come up. So if organizations start investing in their talent from the beginning itself or as part of their overall infrastructure, and make sure that people are evolving themselves with technologies and the roles are evolving along with those technologies, I think we will be able to do future proofing of our talent and of our organizations as well.
So future proofing of the talent and investment in learning, that is very important. And these are very important points which we have highlighted here. Prashant, any of your final comment?
No, I think I think I echo what Nidhi is saying. Learning and constantly evolving, and also adding or probably unlearning also a lot of things that we have been doing in certain way. Probably that also needs to change. So while learning new thing is good, but the way we are learning that or probably how we want to learn that in future, that also has to change within the organization. And that evolution will continue, probably at a much faster pace than what it has happened in past.
So ultimately, learning is the key. Learning of new skills, that is the key. Even the layoffs are going on in industry, but still there is a good job market in tech industry. There are a lot of hiring is going on, not in volume, but some maybe the essential skills, some emerging technologies. This kind of hiring is definitely going on with the tech industries. So thank you so much, Prashantji and Nidhi, for joining us and sharing your wonderful thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Romesh,
Romesh,
for
for
having
having
me.
me over.